In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here. So grab your assigned seat, sit back, and enjoy this week's Top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know Network. Take it away, boys.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's Thunderdome.
Thunderdome!
On the Top 10 show. I'm John Roca.
I am Matt Nost.
For the Top 10 podcast. I've got to clarify that now. I've got to make that very clear. Matt Nost. We chose two really good David Fincher films.
We did.
Unfortunately, once again, our choice did not get chosen.
Well, I think it was only our choice because we haven't really done an in-depth about Zodiac.
We haven't
about Fight Club either, but it's rare to hear anybody really sit down and break down Zodiac.
Right.
Whereas Fight Club, some people voted for Zodiac this week just because they're like, I've heard breakdowns of Fight Club.
Yeah.
And the majority of you said, I don't give a fuck. I want to hear you guys talk about Fight Club.
That's what it seemed like.
That's fine.
Even though his first rule is not to talk about Fight Club, we're going to talk about Fight Club. A David Fincher directed film. Which he's, I don't know if has he had a miss yet?
No, I wouldn't call any of them a miss. Some of them aren't as solid a homer as others. You know what I mean? Some of them are barely making over the fence, but it's still a home run.
Yes.
And that's kind of, It feels like that's false praise, but it's not because the guy's still amazing. It's just some of the look. Sometimes one amazing thing is slightly better than another.
Yes,
it doesn't detract from its amazing. It's like the dunk contest. Yes, both of those were 50s, but that 50, Gordon's 50 was a little bit better. Let's be perfectly honest.
It should not have been Levine.
Yeah, Gordon should have won.
Absolutely.
But that shit happens because they both did amazing.
Right.
One guy just managed to sustain amazing a little bit longer.
It's objective.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Chuck Palahniuk wrote it, the original novel.
Have you ever read it?
Yes.
I have not.
Yes, it's a gritty book. It's definitely a gritty book. All of his stuff is pretty invasive in terms of its subject matter and how deep he goes into discussing it and the storylines and stuff. It's good. He's a good writer. It's just a slog to get through sometimes because it's very dense.
Yeah.
So, and Jim Uhls was the screenwriter for this with him. So, I love the film the first time I saw it. And I still love it. I own it on Blu-ray. And it was Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helena Bonham Carter, Meatloaf.
Yeah, and like Jared Leto and Meatloaf and
right.
Oh shit! One guy that ended up being on Band of Brothers. I can't remember his name though.
Who does he play in the film?
He plays the guy that everybody assumes is college boy who hasn't actually gone to Harvard yet, or he went for like a semester. They think he graduated, but he's enlisted, and they think he should be an officer.
Right.
And then he gets hurt and goes to the rear and comes back, and everybody's giving him shit because other guys got hurt and came back sooner.
Gotcha.
But I can't remember that actor's name.
No, but in Fight Club, who is he? Who does he play in Fight Club?
In Fight Club, he plays the first guy that technically gets admitted to the house.
Oh.
He's the first one that stands out there for 3 days.
Yep.
And then Meatloaf is the second.
Yes.
Who shows up once he finally gets in. Meatloaf is there.
Right. What did you think when you saw it? Did you like it the first time you saw it?
I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on DVD.
Okay.
I lived with a friend of mine. Who was in college one year, and my lease ran up, and she had an extra bedroom in this house, and she's like, you can just crash here because it's just going to be, it's a 5-bedroom, and there's only going to be 2 people in it.
Right.
So I was like, sure. I had kind of my own section of the house because there's 2 bedrooms off when you rounded a corner, and the other girl wasn't going to be there. So she's like, yeah, you can just go live over there in essence. Be like, okay, sweet, perfect. Wow. And her boyfriend had a stack of DVDs when DVDs were still kind of new.
Right.
And he was like, chapters? The fuck are chapters? You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I opened that up, and I was like, special features, like all that shit. And I watched Fight Club. I couldn't sleep one night, so I just walked in and I just sat there. And this is back when I smoked, and I just sat there and smoked and just watched that movie and ended it. And I was like, why did I not fucking see that in the theater?
Yeah.
Wow, that was crazy good.
It's so good, yeah.
It is amazing. And I watched it for this.
Oh, good.
Because I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
I've seen it a ton.
It's not one that you come back and watch a lot because, or make yourself watch a lot because it's a rough film. It asks a lot of you in what it's exploring and what it's making a comment on our society and the relation. There's no good relationship in the film at all. It's all so incredibly dark.
Well, yeah, the one semi-functional is completely fictional.
Right.
And of course, that one's, semi-functional.
Right. By the way, spoilers on this if you're listening. We're going to eventually talk about
on a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah, I mean, just to let you know. Yeah, I mean, the Helena Bonham Carter stuff, incredibly sexy in the film. Really great choice. Surprisingly great choice.
Especially to play that twisted a character.
Yeah.
And the line of I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. Apparently the original was worse.
Yeah.
And executives had to come in and be like, or producers and be like, that can't make the final cut. Whatever that was. It was something to do, I think, with priesthood or something.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And it was like, oh, wow. So they came in with that. But yeah, she did have a great sexiness, but this off-kilter kind of unhinged way. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
So I think you just did a great job of it.
Well, it's the same way that Maggie Gyllenhaal is sexy in Secretary.
Yeah.
It's because the character is so sexualized that it took a girl who I always thought was attractive to now I think of her differently because I've seen her in a different light and be like, no, Maggie Gyllenhaal can be fucking hot as hell. She has that ability in my head now.
Yeah.
I've done that with girls and be like, oh, really? Why? And be like, you need to see Secretary.
Yeah.
And then you'll understand why afterwards. James Spader, I'm sure, is hotter to you, although he's played that a role, been close to that in the past. Well, just that not devious, but kind of sexual.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Exploratory.
Yeah. Fight Club, going back through it, so I haven't watched it in enough years to where I wanted to see on this one all the times that the screenplay and Fincher tipped their hand to show that they're the same person.
Right. The Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are the same person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tyler Durden manages to do they ever say Ed Norton's character's name?
Yes. When he's fighting with his boss before he beats himself up at his boss's office, he says his name.
Because I thought he just said, what would you do when he comes in? Okay, good. You want to talk? Good. We need to talk.
Oh, no, I guess you're right. They never say his name.
Because you show up late and no tie.
Right.
And I didn't think about it consciously until afterwards. It was I never noticed that. Do they actually say Ed Norton's character's name?
Right. In fact, in IMDb, he's listed as the narrator. So they never say his name.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
they never say his name.
Nope.
But every job, when he goes to describe Tyler and be like, Tyler Durden has a bunch of odd jobs that he does at night. Right. Be like, oh, well, you've already spent the opening 10 minutes saying that you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And you're up at all hours. And what do I do with my time? I don't know. I'm just kind of floating through this.
Yeah.
So Tyler Durden has all these jobs. And then, when they begin living together, they're talking about their dads. And their dads are strangely similar in the way that they've interacted with them. Ed Norton will say something. I remember it specifically, Brad Pitt says something, and Ed Norton just goes, sounds familiar. Brad Pitt is describing things that his dad did.
Yeah.
And there's, let's see, I wrote down a few of them. Once I started, I was like, oh, yeah. Where was it? Oh, when they're playing golf, I guess that's more of a duality of the character. Ed Norton is terrible at it, but the idealized version of who he wants to be, Brad Pitt, is perfect swing, makes great contact. You can hear that it lands, that it's like a 7-iron, and that went 140 yards. It's that was a solid hit.
Yeah. And
fucking Ed Norton is topping the ball.
Yeah.
Left and right. I don't know if I wrote down any others.
Well, I love the fact that, and that's a good point you bring up, Matt, because everyone reveres Tyler Durden through the whole movie. And so when Ed Norton is bitching about Tyler Durden, no one else wants to go along with this, right? Because they think it's a test. And so it's fun to watch those interactions now in retrospect after you've seen the film already.
Yeah.
To see how they've played those scenes out to where the characters have to know, the person talking to them is Tyler Durden, but in a whole nother way. And so who is the real character?
Yeah.
You know, you don't know who the real character is, and is it really a split person? Like, which life of his is fake and which life of his is really real? And I think that's what I enjoy about the film all the time. Is the way he deals with Marla as the narrator versus Tyler Durden the actual relationship, or is the relationship between Marla and Tyler Durden the actual relationship? Because she initially falls for the narrator character, the Edward Norton more meek character, but enjoys the Tyler Durden character in bed.
Yeah, but the meeker character, though, didn't have the chutzpah to make the next move.
Right.
Because, like, she's crazy. She's just too much of a handful to deal with.
Yeah.
Tyler, quote unquote, swoops in and just like, I'm here to have fun. Let's have some fun. Let's, the real me, quote unquote, will deal with the aftermath afterwards. And I would love to see the movie from the other perspective of like the guys in the back of the car seeing this person have a two-sided argument as he drives into another car. And that's also the same guy that was in Band of Brothers. He's in the back seat as one of the two guys there.
Right.
But numerous points at that where he is the same. He's both characters within a scene and there are other people there. From their perspective, it's got to be weird. Like when he's showing up and being like, when Project Mayhem just starts, like, the fuck did you guys do?
Yeah.
And you see the smiley face in this first one, and then Meatloaf is like, we're not supposed to talk about it. Like the first rule is we don't talk about Project Mayhem.
That's right.
Or when he goes to deliver the plans to the cops.
Yeah.
And the one cop leaves, and they're like, we respect you so much for this. This is a powerful symbol. And he's infiltrated even this far.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I wonder how many, like, a brand new generation was introduced to the Pixies just from that closing.
Sure.
I had heard them. That and Gigantic were the two songs that I'd heard before, so I knew of them.
Right.
But after that, it did kind of put me in the mood, and I got the album. I never owned the album.
Wow.
I hadn't listened to them in years.
Right.
Probably been like 4 years or something. I remember it was early high school. Somebody handed me their CD. It's a good movie.
It really is, and I love the dialogue. Just about every scene is so sharp, so tight, so fun to watch and enjoy, and it's amazing how they find a way to further the character's storyline, because eventually you see the progression of his mania, of Tyler Durden's mania bleeding into the meeker version of him, so that when the meeker version wants to stand up and fight, because we all have a fight or flight impulse. All of us is just a natural instinctive thing that we're born with. His fight or flight impulse is to destroy Tyler Durden, but he has to destroy himself.
It's the only way to.
It's the only way to do it, right? He has to essentially kill himself almost to get rid of Tyler, which is what that last scene is when he's blowing everything up. He shoots his mouth.
But did he get rid of Tyler?
Exactly. And that's the thing.
I sincerely doubt it.
I sincerely doubt it too. I mean, I don't think you can get rid of that voice inside your head that's always talking to you or saying stuff to you or questioning.
Not when it can manifest itself in front of you and you think it's a real fucking person.
That's right. And you've got insomnia.
Yeah.
To the point where you can't control it. Yeah, it's fascinating. I love the spirit animal stuff. That was great little stuff. That
I know everything that in lesser hands could be a detour or a speed bump. It overall aids in the overall the storytelling itself. Like Fincher's, it's just so impressive.
Yeah,
and to think that he goes from this and moves off into something totally different, whereas usually you'd assume a director that can pull off something like this can only pull off something like this.
Right.
Like, it's very stylized and it's a very specific type of movie genre.
Right.
And then to go, no, I want to go tell this story now. That dude's career is so impressive. Maybe we should pit Zodiac against something else, because now it makes me want to talk about other Fincher things. So in like 6 months, we'll do another Fincher off.
Well, Fincher, if you look at this film, you look at Zodiac, you look at Panic Room, you look at these.
Yeah, Panic Room, which should be a throwaway.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
He has an ability.
Dwight Yoakam is great.
Dwight Yoakam was fantastic.
Dwight Yoakam is great.
He's so scary.
Jared Leto with cornrows is not terrible.
Nope.
And it should be.
All right. And then you have Forrest Whitaker as the balance.
Yeah.
But like what's great about those films, his film, those three films, the Fight Club and Panic Room and Zodiac, the menace, the sense of dread that he can bring to certain moments in those films is so overpowering. It's unsettling. And it's so well done in the reality of human interaction.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he has such a gift for it. because it's you're right. In the wrong hands, it becomes, like you said, a speed bump. It becomes haphazard. It's a fumbling around. I can't imagine Zack Snyder being
That's who I'm thinking of when it's like, you can give me a highly stylized,
right,
but you're going to get lost in the style at times, and it's going to detract from the overall product.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're good at bringing interesting things to life, but it doesn't really sometimes service your overall needs.
God, I wonder what his Batman would look like. Fincher's Batman.
It'd be good.
Probably fucking be amazing.
It'd be fucking good.
Jesus, I would suffer through one more origin story if I could see his.
If I could see his, like he was given the reins like Nolan.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it would be close to Nolan's. Though.
Yeah, absolutely, would be close. But I think he'd pick a different Batman. I think he wouldn't go anywhere near the Christian Bale version of Batman.
No, I would go with older Batman.
Yeah,
it's like what Dawn of Justice tried to do.
Right. Dark Knight Returns Batman,
which is part of our recap and review that comes out this Friday.
Hey-o.
So if you want to download that and you want to talk about a spoiler-heavy discussion, there it is, guys. You can download it there.
Nice plug, man.
Thank you. No problem. Don't forget about our regular show that comes out tomorrow.
Hello. You're so good at this, man.
Yeah.
You're the plug-in machine. What did you, as you were watching it again, were there any scenes that jumped out at you that you had forgotten about, or that you had forgotten how powerful they were, how good they were?
There are little things over the years that I picked up, like, so the first time Tyler gives assignments and says you have to go out and pick a fight with somebody and lose, the guy that sprays down the priest, apparently, I didn't notice it, but the cinematographer was laughing in that scene because he didn't know it was coming. So there's a slight shimmy.
Oh, how funny.
When he knocks the Bible out of his hands and he sprays it and he just stares at him.
Yeah.
That made the guy kind of bust up a little bit. So there's supposed to be a little shimmy there. They might have corrected it because I saw, the newest version. So maybe in the newest they auto-corrected it or something. So you have to get an original for that. But I don't see why you wouldn't just leave that in because that's a great little piece of movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
You got to have those little things in. And we're all watching a movie. We understand what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything that I'd forgotten. No, I don't think. Maybe just like, little things like the innocence of Tyler Durden asking the narrator that the genesis of the story is punch me, which is something innocent.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a grown man. I've never been in a fight. What can I tell about myself? Right. It's an easy gateway into escalating from there.
Right.
Because you get all these guys in their 20s, they still have the testosterone of their teenage years, but they're trying to figure out the angst of, is this what adult life is?
Right.
And as Durden says later on, your Great Depression is your life. Like, we don't have a great war.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out your way in this world, and you don't feel like you have a purpose. And it's a nice, innocent way to get into proving your manhood is, punch me.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
It's a gateway.
Yeah, I've never been punched.
Well, it's because we have to regress to Primal in order to explore and that's what I feel like the movie was trying to say. We've been so lost in the things that we can buy, becoming comfortable, becoming soft, becoming taken care of as men, that we've forgotten the primal nature of why we were created, or why we came to be on the earth. And going back to Fight Club is reawakening that primal stuff. And I agree with that, like, in a way. And watching some of the reactions of the guys when they're in the fights, they're smiling.
Oh, yeah, at the
even
end.
after they get beat up, they're smiling, But Edward Norton is the unstable center of that whole thing, because when he flips out and beats up Jared Leto within an inch of his life, he's abused the privilege.
Yeah, they're all looking at him like, what the fuck,
right,
man?
Which is why Tyler calls him out on it. Because Tyler was like, see, you can't control your impulses in any way, shape, or form. Like, you go too far. One way or the other. You're either too meek,
but that was
too powerful.
But that was also
nuts.
Jealousy and rage over him wanting to hang out with you, wanting to be just like you, to emulate the fictionalized version of yourself that you. Yeah, it's such a great complex, and I love the simplicity of just, I wanted to destroy something beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the rage and aggression. I'm not that beautiful thing, so I wanted less of it in the world. God, what a nasty, nasty individual.
Yeah. Well, and some people are built to walk into a bar and pick a fight. Like, some people are just built for it, man. They just want to do it for whatever reasons, whatever things they're working out or dealing with within themselves, man.
Yeah, I fucking. I remember one of the first instances I had one of those types of guys. I was in college, and he had just gotten out of the military. And so I was part of, when I got to college, my friends were all friends from high school.
Yeah.
So they were like one solid group, and they added me to their group. So I instantly had like eight buddies.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. It was like, oh, sweet, built in.
Yeah.
This guy's like this guy from back home for me, and this guy's like this, and it was just easy to plug right in.
Just add water.
Yeah, kind of thing. And they had two friends that were in the military. One was in the Air Force, and I can't remember the other one was, because the other one was the dick, and I only met him once. Air Force guy was this big, huge, massive a man, nice as can be.
Yeah.
Because nobody picked fights with him, because why would you pester a fucking giant? You know what I mean? So I loved him. And this other guy showed up one night, and he was just this aggro, trying to prove that he was a badass bullshit.
Yeah.
And he said something to me like, it was in a phase I was using a lot of gel in my hair. And he just basically said that, used a lot of gel in that hair, huh? And I looked at him and I was like, you got a team of monkeys working on that for you? Or did you come up with that by yourself? But I'm amongst friends.
Right.
I bust the balls of my friends.
Of course.
And he, the rest of the night, was just like, fuck. He tried to pick a fight with me. And eventually I turned to my friend Brian. I was like, man, I'm leaving. I'm going to go hang out at this other bar. Hopefully I run into somebody I know. Because I know he's taking a swing.
Yeah.
It just needs a couple more cocktails in him. He's taking a swing. And he was kind of like, yeah, I don't trust him right now either.
Yeah.
And they were siding with me of like, he doesn't know you. But at the same time, you are amongst friends. It's all a relaxed environment.
But that's a primal thing. He felt threatened by your placement in the group of friends. Therefore, he challenged you. It's like it's monkeys, man. That's what this shit is. That's what's so great about the film. It strips all of it down and says we need to go back to this now. Whether he's right or wrong is your belief, is your personal belief, right? Like some people have said the film is misogynistic and the film's about, it's always heralded by men's movements as the totem pole for them to use to say yes, men need to reclaim this power in the society bullshit. I don't see it that way. I think you can be just as powerful. I think you have to not lose both sides of yourself. It's just as much strength to show emotion, be vulnerable, be tender and be gentle with the people you care about as it is to be a defender and a strong person and fight for the things that you want. You have to find the happy marriage. And I think what the film is trying to say is we've gone too far the other way into the narrator world that we need to have a little more Tyler Durden so we swing the pendulum back to find our balance. And that's what I enjoy about the film so much, And it may be because I have had those aggro feelings when I was younger in the military. I mean, the military breeds it in you.
It does.
It really does. And so how you react to it is how you react to it.
Well, and he was, after having lived in San Diego.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, I know enough military. They're not like that.
Yeah.
But there is that dude
There's
a lot.
That dude, yeah.
Just because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's just like basically a guy who's an idiot but has been built up through strength and through training and everything else is a killing machine, especially compared to a guy that is not.
He's a weapon.
He is a weapon.
Yeah.
He's been trained to be a weapon.
Yeah. I met a lot of those in the service, man.
Yeah, there are.
A lot of guys go into it for that reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It draws a certain type of individual.
It does.
It's a weird how many different personalities fit into that construct of still wanting to prove their mettle, push themselves in this regard. And some people just want to get the fuck out of their hometown.
Yeah.
This is an easy way to do it.
And it's a sausage fest for the most part. There are women obviously in the military in all branches, but like for the most part, it is mostly male. And so men are going to do what men do when they get together in those situations. You're going to have the aggro. You're going to have the intelligent one. You're going to have the relaxed one. You're going to have the funny one. You're going to have all those things. And then eventually, something always comes to a head in those relationships. And eventually, and you'll see the aggro is the first one picking the fight. Because the advantage that some of these guys think they have is that, I've got my buddies with me. They're under the military code. If I pick a fight, they're going to have to jump in and help me. And that's the bullshit that you sometimes have to deal with. And when you're young and haven't thought it out really well what this means, those are the situations you can find yourself in sometimes. You're like, fuck.
Well, plus I always assume, I don't know how much intellectual training you go through, like at the end through boot camp. It's more about the physical.
It is.
And just priming you to be what they need you to be. So once you finish with that, you're not taught thus far to use your smarts. You're taught to use your brawn.
Right.
So you're coming into these situations when you have a conflict of, I can resolve this through physical violence.
Right. And you're trained to use that
exactly and effectively.
Yeah.
If you've been paying attention to your training.
Exactly.
I mean, some guys are obviously better at it than others.
Yes. True. All right. Was there anything else you want to say about the movie?
No, I mean, I can't imagine anybody that's into our show hasn't seen it just because it seems like one of those ones of enough people talk about it.
Yeah.
It's such a huge, luminous film to so many different people.
It really is.
It's a damn good film. You can't fault it. Even rewatching it as recently as the past 48 hours, it's still like, man, this film is fucking excellent.
Yeah. It's almost like a noir. It's almost shot like a noir.
Kind of.
Everything's dark. There's a lot of water around, like either on the ground or in the, like everything just looks like it just finished raining, almost everything. And it's just got that vibe to it, which I love.
Yeah.
And then like Seven and Fight Club in terms of the atmosphere are very similar. Seven another Fincher film.
Yeah, it's very wet.
Very wet.
Well,
very
so is
similar,
like
darker.
Aliens 3.
Yeah, Alien 3, right. Which
It's
is also
very. It's
Fincher.
got a very wet feeling to it.
Yeah. And that's what I enjoy about, and then the scene where he kicks his own ass in The Boss to get out. I mean, that's
it's great.
That's every guy's dream, man, to get the fuck out of a situation like that. You know, living in a fucking cubicle for 20 years or 10 years, however long you're going to be in there.
Yeah, there's also that. I had never thought about that, like the assessor or a risk assessor and showing up and determining whether or not it's more feasible to do a recall or just to pay off the families that encounter the problem.
Right.
And that is a business from a business perspective.
And that's a microcosm of so many other industries, right?
I mean, granted, the auto industry is a great choice.
Yeah.
Like tobacco would be even better.
Sure.
But auto industry is, all right, enough of these have to fail to where it's cost effective. I mean, if you look at VW, they can't fix emissions for diesel cars here in the U.S. From 2015 through whatever year it was because they haven't figured out how to do it cost effectively yet. Some years, they're just going to have to buy the car back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to lose a lot of money because of this fuck up. But they probably knew about it for a long time. Yeah. And we're just like, all right, well, we can't do anything about it now, or it doesn't make sense to do anything about it now. Let's just let it balloon. Maybe we get away with it.
Maybe
the EPA never notices it. It's gone this far.
And it's not a positive they end up being terrorists. Like, let's just say, I'm not a big fan of they takes the aggro too far and become the rebellion too far. I mean, I like the pissing in the soup, all that. I get it. You're going to rebel against the rich, the people that have money, the 1%, whatever. But to take it to the point where you're blowing up buildings, that it's almost like it's an unsettling ending to the movie in that way. Like if you take this logically, if you take this thought pattern to its logical conclusion, it is the actual physical destruction of that which you hate.
Chaos and anarchy seems to be where he inevitably wants to go. He wants to tear down modern society as he sees it and remold it into what, I have no idea.
Right.
But if he goes too far, then I don't even know how he subsists after a while because he sells soap to fund. Although he's got the corporate job, but if you got rid of corporations, then...
Yeah. What do you have then?
I guess you wouldn't have money, so you wouldn't be traveling, and then you just kind of...
Barter system?
I guess if you destroyed, then it comes down to your utility within society. What can you make to help?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's what he wants.
It's Fight Club. That's it.
Yeah. Get us. Well, it would be reverting us back to our more animalistic state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two tribes, like that Frankie Goes to Hollywood video. All right. I think that's our recap. And
there it is. There's Thunderdome.
Yeah.
This week's Thunderdome
dun, dun, dun.
is Back to the Future versus Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Something a little more lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
two good 80s comedies.
Yeah, we were trying to find two that we didn't know the outcome beforehand.
Right. So we don't know.
We don't know who's going to win.
Right. On this one, no.
No, I don't. I have a guess.
Right.
As to who would win.
A lot of people like Ferris Bueller's. A lot of people love Ferris Bueller's. And we haven't done a comedy in a while.
True.
Right.
I don't know. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah.
So there it is. Back to the Future versus Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was posted yesterday. You've got until Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get your vote in. That's on Facebook.com/the Top 10 Podcast.
Right.
And that's 10 with the number 10.
Yes.
And that is it for me. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks, guys and gals. And follow Matt at Matt Nost. Follow me at The Roca Says. Follow the show at Top 10 Show. Thanks for getting us over 1,000 likes or 1,000 follows on Twitter.
I mean, as of this recording, we're just 10 or 11 shy of 1,000 on Facebook.
Great. Please like us there.
Yeah, let's get above 1,000. I think we'll easily do that because we're picking up quite a few each week now.
Picking up steam.
Yeah.
At Top 10 Podcast on Instagram. And reach out to the people at Collider, Christian, Mark Ellis, Dennis. Let them know you're enjoying the movie, or the show, rather, and let them know that you're a big fan of the show and you're happy that the show is on their network. Like, it's always good to get a little bit of buzz, a little bit of, if you have the time to send stuff out on Twitter, it'd be great. Help us out.
And that's all I got. Anything else from you?
No, I'm good. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.